A very good afternoon. I cannot match Dr. Ashley's animated talk, but I hope I can go somewhere there. Every form has its own beauty. Thank you. So I wear two hats. I'm a technologist as well as an educator, but I believe more that it's education that's more important, and technology has to subserve and make us be better educators and be better learners. So what I'm going to, AI and UDL stands for Artificial Intelligence and Universal Design for Learning. What I'm going to do is start with a brief introduction of what is AI in education, and then again a brief description of what is UDL, because this is a bunch of educators, so I shouldn't be really carrying coal to Newcastle. And then I will come up with a few examples of popular AI apps and relate them to UDL, and at the end, of course, I'll sum everything up, and that'll be the talk. So why AI? One big reason is because Canada is the birthplace of AI, and it's the top leading country in AI research right now, which is a very good reason why we should be very enthused and we should use AI. So AI actually is either a software or a hardware with software, which is designed to interact with the world or with the environment around it. And it should be able to sense what's around, and it should be able to make decisions and act more or less like a human being. That's what artificial intelligence is all about. But what is artificial intelligence in education? Are robots going to replace teachers? Are we going to start training little robots? What's going to happen? Does anybody have any idea? Are robots going to replace teachers? No. That's good. I believe so too. Actually, at this point in time, in education, the AI is in the form of applications, software programs. That's what we are right now, and intelligent software. And what these pieces of software do is they work on the basis of rules. Say 2 + 2 = 4. You teach the software 2 + 2 = 4. It learns it. That's called an algorithm. And it's able to apply the algorithm again and again using data and learn more and more. It goes through one set of assignments. It sees that 10 students have written 2 + 2 = 4. 5 students have written something other than 4, it knows that there's the right answer and the wrong answer. And it goes on learning more and more. It learns that some students keep making mistakes again and again. Some students keep getting the right answer again and again. So it learns more and more. So that kind of layered learning is called deep learning. That's one term you will often hear in terms of education and AI. Deep learning means how many layers of learning does the AI program go through. And the most important part, which is very significant for us as educators, is so far we test content. Like we give some chapters to the students to study, and we give them tests, and we mark them, pass, fail, whatever. We don't know what happens in the process of learning. There is no way we can actually gauge except whatever is happening in the class. So that's a big unknown area, and that's where the AI is coming in to give us a lot of data. And in what way is deep learning significant? See, today we are being bombarded by data. In Dr. Ashley's talk, there was this statistics being provided. I had actually collected, but I didn't want to bring it in because there's too much to cover. But I was very happy that was brought in, because it shows how many gigabytes of data is being generated every minute. So there's tremendous amount of data, and we have programs. Previously, the algorithms would not be able to act on data beyond a particular point. So any amount of data you had, you wouldn't be able to use. But now, with deep learning, there is an exponential increase in the learning and in the betterment of the AI with data. So sky's the limit now. Does anybody recognize this? Can anybody tell me what this reminds me of or what this is about? Who said Grammarly? Has anybody seen the Grammarly video on YouTube? Yeah? Oh, for a while it just kept coming on every single video that I played. So this is how it goes. This girl wants to do an assignment, and Grammarly goes and keeps suggesting to her all the alternatives, and she chooses the right ones, and then she gets an A+. So what is Grammarly? It's a software program that uses machine learning and artificial intelligence to improve people's learnings. I would recommend every one of you to go home. It's free. Go home and just sign up for it. It's magical. I love watching it. I just make a mistake deliberately, and then I see how it's coming back and correcting. It's amazing. Grammarly.com, please. It's free. So this is an AI. This is an AI in education. But we don't recognize it like that, because after some point, AIs become common, and then we consider them as just another computer program. But so long as there's learning happening in the program and it's improving, it is artificial intelligence. Now let me change gear and come into education. So one big incentive why we are talking here and we are so concerned about education is because it's a birthright for every human being. And that means we cannot have one-size-fits-all kind of pedagogical methods, because we do not belong to a cookie-cut community. There's not only people with disabilities, there's remedial students who need some gap to catch up, and then there are advanced students who are on the other side and who need to be really fed with more advanced material for their progress. And then there are ESL students and seniors and international students. I can just go on and on. There's diversity in one line, in one word. There is diversity. We need to recognize that, and we need to provide equitable access, not equal access, but equitable access so that everybody achieves the learning goals. And there is this concept called learner's DNA, and I love that. You know, it's like a unique DNA. Every learner's capacity to learn and their ability and style to learn is different. All capable educators who are passionate educators, they will recognize that, and they will try to meet every student at their place. All of you must be familiar. How many of you don't teach? How many of you are not teachers? Only a few. Okay. I can be safely going quickly through this. So let me just explain what these 4 things are. So every time you want to teach a course, right, you need to go through this exercise. You need to first decide, what is my goal? Or what is the goal of the whole class, the learners? What are they supposed to be achieving? How will they be different at the end of the course? So how the learning experience will enhance their knowledge, skills, and attitude. And then, based on that, we create some learning material, and then we engage in some methods to bring the learning material to the students. And while doing this, because we need to cater to diversity, we need to bring multiple representations of the material. I cannot just hand a Word document to all students, or I cannot just hand a quiz which got only images. If there are blind students, they might need alternative text for that. Or I cannot hand videos to everybody, because if somebody is hard of hearing, I need to have captions on it. These are just small examples, but there could be differences even in just learning aptitudes. That's about multiple ways of representing. I need to represent what I provide in different ways to cater to different needs. And then when the students take those and they try to learn using those are the learning activities. Here they need to be engaged. So you need to provide different things. It could be discussion, it could be a group activity, it could be individual assignments. You need to keep varying them, even from batch to batch, of cohort to cohort, because different students might need different incentives to get engaged and to learn well. And finally, the assessment. That's the only way you can make sure that your learning goals are met. And how do you do that? Even the assessments, you need to have multiple ways, provide multiple ways in which the students can express themselves. Like, not just say, everybody submit an essay. You can say, okay, you can even make a film, or you can make a PowerPoint presentation, or you just record whatever you want to say. That really works very well. As an educator, I've been teaching for 4 or 5 years now, a master's program, of which Jane Yang also graduated. And I've had like senior students, students with disabilities, and I've really found all these, whatever I'm talking about now, all of them have been practically experienced. So Universal Design for Learning is a framework from a US organization called CAST, where they stress on these 3 principles. Everything you provide to the students, provide in multiple ways, multiple representations, and engage the students in multiple different ways, and also give them different ways to express themselves and to do the activities that are supposed to be done for the assignments. So how are UDL and AI connected? That's what we are here to see. One important thing we saw earlier is that in the traditional education, we only know the content has been consumed, whether it's retained or not. We can check whether the students are able to answer the questions. We don't know how they performed. We don't know how they fared through the process. What did they do? How long did they take? Did somebody take less time, more time? Because we talked about multiple ways of representing, multiple ways of engagement. How do you know which student needs what? We don't have any data to find out. Visually, we can make out a few directly in the class, but what if you have an online class? We don't have data. Although in principle we know there's UDL, we don't have data with which we can actually differentiate between students and meet their needs. This is where AI comes in. AI supports education, AI supports the teachers and the students by bringing in enormous amount of data, enormous amount of learning in such a way that you can make out now what the needs are, and accordingly you can do your teaching. So I'm going to just run through a number of AI applications, popular AI applications. I've listed 9 of them. I'm just going to go through them and then tell you, it's not like I'm going to shoehorn these applications into, this is representation, this is engagement. That's not the purpose. In fact, it doesn't work like that. Each of them might have different ways of engaging into each of one of the UDL principles. So number 1 I've chosen is Thinkster Math. It's an amazing tablet-based software for math learning. It's got a number of awards. It's for high school. All of what I'm talking about is K-12. So what it does is, on the iPad, the student uses their finger and just writes. And then a video is taken of the entire process, where the student erases and writes something different, how long they pause at different places. They have a patented technology. It's called electronic paper. So the tutor gets to view the video. So the tutor knows, okay, they put the 5 there, and then they sat for 3 minutes, and then they erased it. So there's a problem over there. So they know the weaknesses, and then they can accordingly give the next set of assignments. You know Kumon? How many of you have sent your children to Kumon? When you go submit one assignment, with the other hand, you take the next assignment and come out, right? That's the most ineffective, because the next assignment is not provided based on the performance of this assignment. Whereas in TapDor, every single assignment comes to you based on how you did in the previous one. So each student has a fits one kind of track for performing and progressing. Another one is third space learning. This is also math. And as you would rightly guess, most of the apps are math and English. Undoubtedly, these are 2 strengths everybody needs in education, basic. So third space It also does the same thing, but it portrays it or frames it like it's going to tell the teachers how learning and teaching patterns are found and how they could improve. And it also tells the teachers how they can improve the lessons. See, basically, underneath the layer, everything is the same, but the different companies try to differentiate their products by saying, my product does this or my product does that. So the third example I have is Dreambox Learning. This is also math. And here they say that learning gaps are uncovered. They try to find out which student doesn't know what. And then accordingly, the teacher can, if she finds that the entire class doesn't know something, then she will attend to it in one way. If she finds that only 2 students don't know, she may go and teach just those 2 students. The next one is Carnegie Learning, Mataya. And what this does is, it again differentiates learning experiences. It not only supports students who are struggling, it also provides very challenging assignments to those who are advancing fast. And it also helps teachers become better in their teaching. So you see, more or less, all of these are doing the same thing. They are providing differentiated learning to students, and they are making the teacher's life better, their performance better. And then now to a different class of AI apps. This is Brainly. What Brainly does is, it's just a community, about 100 million students every month from 35 countries. You can just go to this interface and you can ask a question. Anything, even whatever you got in your homework, you can ask. And the system filters off all the spam, and the system identifies some high performers, low performers, and matches them. And it just generally, like every time I keep saying Dr. Ashley, because you mentioned everything. Collaborative learning comes from this. So students can do out of the class collaborative learning using AI with this Brainly platform. And then these are 2, Cram 101 and Just the Facts 101. Both are from Content Technologies, Inc. What these 2 things do, programs do is very interesting. It'll take a book and then just crunch it up into different points, flashcards, and other ways of quickly absorbing. Then there's Coursera. Coursera actually focuses on how to identify if the teacher and if teaching material is not okay. If suppose a number of students make a mistake in a particular quiz, then the teacher learns that this particular quiz is not worded well, and then they can go and change it. That's also done through AI. I'm from D2L, so at the end, I'm just mentioning my own company's products as well. We market a learner management system called Brightspace, and we have 2 features over there where we use AI, adaptive learning engines, and one of them takes the learning outcomes, teaching methods, and activities and examines them, and it gives to the student a path of which material they should learn next based on how they have performed. And the other one, Student Success, actually identifies students who are at risk of dropping off, and they identify those so that the teachers can give special attention and bring them around. So in summary, I just want to say that there are 3 principles of UDL. One is make multiple ways of representing your material and teaching methods. Number 2 is have multiple ways of, give multiple ways of expression and action to the students. And 3 is provide multiple ways in which the students can engage in the learning process. Under each one of these, you can see that whatever we saw all this while, personalization of content and personalization of the process and identifying weak students, all those things are fitting into this. Not necessarily app by app, but all the features that we saw, they all neatly sit within this. This is just to say kudos to the UDL. It's a truth. It stands, I've seen it, compared it with so many other things, the WCAG accessibility guidelines, I've compared it with inclusive design, everywhere it fits in very neatly. I love UDL. So finally, this question that we had about, will robots replace teachers? People said no, and that's the right answer, because the number of students is increasing exponentially. There will always be a need for teachers. It's never going to die. Just like 20 years ago, people felt that, oh, the PCs are coming, the computers are coming, we're all going to not have jobs. It never happened like that. Similarly, the AI agents are going to make life easier for teachers by doing all the rote jobs like grading and other things, administrative jobs, so that the teachers can actually practice higher level critical thinking and engaging the students and being better educators. So there ends my spiel. Any questions? Thank you.